Braedyn, going back to the game, we spoke with Coach Longo yesterday. He said you checked into 17 different plays, 16 were positive. Have you maybe gotten, that comfortable with doing the things at the line of scrimmage and being able to kind of have those pre-snap reads?
Yeah, I think, a lot of it comes down to, the two of us, Coach Longo and I, have really spent a lot of time one-on-one, sitting there with the clicker, just going through stuff. And, I think when you spend a lot of time with the play caller, it gives you the chance to kind of think like the play caller a little bit. So being on the same page with him and knowing, where his mind's at and where my mind's at, kind of allows us to have a really good trust out there. And so I think that that's kind of where you get the result of what you got Saturday.
Braedyn, what do you think Mabry's made the biggest strides here, especially since he's elevated into the 2 role? I know they wanted to get him more reps with the 2s in practices, but you and Tyler were going out.
Yeah, no, I think I think he's just done a good job of handling the pressure that's put on him as the backup. Obviously he's not in the starting role, but he's under a lot bigger microscope than he was before, and I think that he's handled that really well. And I think that when you're that young and you haven't been in that fire before, I think that it's a fight or flight moment a little bit. Like, how are you going to handle it? And he's done a good job of just elevating his game and elevating his urgency and elevating his intensity. And I think that it's allowed him to get better at a fast rate, and so been happy for him.
That performance last week, kind of just how much confidence does this offense have going forward? Kind of how much does that do for you to see that, that kind of a breakout game for this whole offense?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked a little bit about it after the USC game. Just when you see yourself do those things and you feel yourself, do those things and have some success, I think it does a lot for you. It's one thing to talk about it and draw it up, and it's another thing to actually go and do it. The only thing with USC is we only did it for 30 minutes. So to put it together for 4 quarters, I'm not saying we didn't make mistakes. I obviously had my 2 turnovers that I got to eliminate, and I'm sure that we made some other mistakes at individual spots or whatever. But I think that our confidence can be elevated and continue to rise because we see ourselves on film doing these things, making these plays, and now it's about consistency. It's about continuing to grow, and it's all about getting a week better each and every week.
Coach Longo, one other thing he mentioned, in meetings, you're the kind of guy who everyone knows you got the answer. Everyone tries to kind of beat you to the answer. In that room, have you kind of seen yourself grow as a leader, maybe, especially in the last few weeks since you've kind of become the one?
I would say yes and no. I think naturally in the QB room, it's kind of a hyper alpha, environment. Everybody kind of wants to be the guy, and it's a very unique dynamic in there because it's a spot that one guy plays, but it's kind of, if you're going to be a quarterback on a team, you have to have some leadership qualities. You have to have the ability to take charge, and so. I would say that I've kind of been that way, especially because in January, coming back from last season, I was kind of one of the only guys that really knew what we were all about and kind of what we were doing. Obviously Cole was here, but he was a true freshman last year. So I don't know that it's changed a ton, but obviously when you're the starter and you're the guy playing, there's kind of a different there's a different outlook, different spotlight put on you.
Rutgers has been a little bit of a surprise this year in the Big Ten. Can you just talk about your preparation as you go on the road again this week?
Yeah, no, I honestly don't know how much of a surprise I would say it is to me, just because they returned so much production on defense last year, especially defensively. I haven't studied them offensively, but defensively they just returned a lot of veterans. You look at their 2 deep, and it's nothing but juniors and seniors and 5th-year guys and things like that. And so you kind of expect a veteran group like that to play well and to know their assignments and know the philosophy of what they do. They're an impressive group. They look like they pride themselves on physicality and playing hard and being in the right places. And so it's going to take a great week. We had a great practice today. It's going to take 2 more moving forward, and we got to dial it in, but we just have to continue to get a week better. That's our primary focus.
This will arguably be the toughest road environment you faced in your career as a starter. What do you take away from going to Indiana and Illinois last year that maybe you can clean up this time around, just in terms of getting guys on the same page, especially when fans are really into it and all that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think environments certainly play a factor, but when you're out there playing, it's so much about just play-to-play execution. So I think what I learned from last year playing on the road was just that's got to be it's got to be my main focus, is just play after play, drive after drive, quarter after quarter, and putting together a really productive 60 minutes. I think playing at the Coliseum a couple weeks ago, I mean, that was an awesome environment, a historic place. I think that, everybody on our team, could have, taken it all in and got a little bit starstruck or whatever, but I thought we handled that one really well. And I've got a lot of confidence that we'll handle this environment well too.
Is there anything you like about playing on the road?
Yeah, no, it's a very unique, deal. I love going on the road. You got nothing but each other. There's nobody in the stadium cheering for you, minus your parents maybe. You got nobody but the guys in the locker room, and we say it all the time. All we got is all we need, and that'll be our mentality going into this week.
Going back to Saturday, you lose Will, you lose Bryson. A couple of guys stepped up. One of the big ones, CJ Williams. You guys connected on that third down, deep in your own territory. Kind of, how did you see him step up this past week, and what do you maybe expect from him if those two can't go this week?
Well, I mean, I would tell you guys, CJ's a special player. We have a great relationship. We took our official visit together here. We came in together same time. We spent a lot of time together over the last 2 years. Being in the same group and all that. And I've thrown that guy thousands of balls. And, so to me, it's not a surprise, but I'm really happy for a guy like CJ that's worked as hard as he had. I mean, he's puts more time in than most people here. He deserves everything that's coming for him.
Braedyn, one of the things also we saw, running backs kind of catching passes out of the backfield. You had the really nice one to Darion. It's like the same, another one to Cade. Do you think that some of those downfield routes you're seeing a little bit more, and how can they kind of help in the passing game?
Well, they're huge weapons for us. It's kind of something that adds another dimension to the offense. It gives the defense something to worry about. These guys aren't just running check downs and flat routes all the time. They can be downfield threats, and they can really be tough matchups because you're not going to put a corner on a back. You're a lot of times you're dealing with a bigger guy trying to cover him, a guy that doesn't move as well laterally. So it can be a huge advantage for us, and we can definitely use those guys to create mismatches, and it's definitely something we got to continue to do.
Thank you.